Alright, sports fans, today we're going back in time, 1975 to be exact, as it was a time of free spirits, it was a time of hippies, and it was also a time of the emergence of free agency. 1975 draft, there was a young man named Anthony Davis. He was drafted out of the University of Southern California in the second round. A questionable pick, but he decided not even to go to the NFL. He went to the WFL. It was a new league. It really folded after 1 year. But when Anthony Davis went there, he sort of became a free agent after he was done with the WFL, becoming the first real free agent of the National Football League's long storied history. Now, with that move, it set up decades to come of free agency that we know it today. But it's kind of an interesting shift during that time, because you had, during the 70s, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were homegrown. They depended on the draft, and they developed a Super Bowl winning and Super Bowl dynasty teams out of the draft. Now then you look forward to the late 70s, early 80s, and the San Francisco 49ers sort of did the opposite. They went out and got some of these guys that were drafted in 1975, 76, 77, that had seen their contracts run up with their respective teams, but now found themselves on a Super Bowl contender in San Francisco. Anthony Davis is a name you might not have heard of before. He's a running back. He's a kid out of USC. But he ever changed the landscape of free agency and the world of acquiring players in the NFL. Now, for me, I'm a huge Steelers fan, and so I appreciate what the Steelers did with the draft. But I'm also a realist, and I appreciate the current system that we have with free agency. It's a much better business model. So I appreciate both worlds. But you look back to 1975, there were many people in that draft, like Gary Johnson, who really was another name that didn't stay with his team in San Diego and went to the 49ers. But those are some names that you probably didn't hear of as a young pup like myself. But going back to the 70s, and specifically that draft, with the move by Anthony Davis, it created a whole new world for the NFL. Free agency as we know it today. But guys like Gary Johnson and Anthony Davis benefited from it, and so many have since then. It's an interesting shift in time in the history of the National Football League. Look back at the 1975 draft and some of the players that were in it. They were really the catalyst for what we have today in the world of free agency in the National Football League. Boom.